Okay, what is up, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Quartz Party Blood Drive, played on my iPad Air M1. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that I have my USB-C type headphones connected into my iPad, and I have my iPhone 14 Pro a little bit away from my iPad, recording the voice audio, because if you directly enable the built-in mic as well as trying to play the game with the speakers, it's going to produce a audio feedback loop where like the characters are all echoey, and nobody wants that. So this is the reason why I'm doing it this way. So I'm trying to give you all the best possible quality to actually hear the game, and to do that is to record the actual in-game using screen record, the built-in iPad app screen record, and doing it this way with the headphones and iPhones. So anyway, that was a long explanation, and I'm gonna probably do this whole setup for the future episodes of Quartz Party. So I just wanted to give you a warning and a reason why I'm doing that. Okay, so let's get started. New chapter. Chapter 1. Chapter 1, Blood Drive returning. A day had passed since the events at Shimmerin-Jaku South Apartments. There was to be a significant turning point for me, and Machado might have been a part of it from the start. Except that fate seemed to have other plans for him.
クオン先生、俺、今日は大事な用があって。
Miss Coon, I have something pressing I need to get to, so if you'll excuse me.
ダメ。サトシ君、昨日の唾液の小テスト、ちょっと残念な点数だったでしょ?
No, you sit back down, Satoshi. Your score on that algebra test yesterday was rather embarrassing, don't you think? Like an owner training a puppy, Coon gave him a strong glare and held up her index finger in reprimand.
今から1時間、私の授業に集中しなさい。そうしたら、次の小テストも解けるようになるから。
For the next hour, I am going to give you a personal lecture, and you're going to listen. And then, the next quiz will be a snap to pass.
先生って英語科でしょ？唾液なんて専門外じゃん。
But aren't you an English teacher? Isn't algebra a little outside your field of expertise?
一生懸命教えるからできるよ。
Anything's possible if you put your mind to it. I like that mindset she has going on. She doesn't take no for an answer. If she thinks she can help anyone with their problems, she goes full steam ahead. No looking back. She seemed a little taken aback by that remark, puffing up her cheeks like a chipmunk in protest.
いや、先生。
But, Miss Coon.
クオン先生って、ユイ先生そっくりだな。
It's startling now how unlike she and Miss Yui are.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry. Looking both bemused and guilty, Machado tried to get up and leave his seat in one swift motion, but was quickly and easily caught, lifted up, and forcibly sat back down. Hmm?
ダメ。
Miss Coon was smiling. She was actually enjoying this.
なんだこの先生。
Who, or what am I dealing with here? Miss Kun was only the slightest bit taller than Machada. This did make her taller than the average, but her arms were small and frail. There seemed to be no way she could possibly have lifted someone of his build. This whole situation was rather bewildering for him, and he made no attempts to hide his confusion.
さあ、始めるよ。
Now, let's begin, shall we?
はい。
Yes, ma'am. He had no other option. Apparently, he was going to be studying algebra for the next hour, come hell or high water. Meanwhile, at a local cafe near the school, Kisanuma and I were sitting down to speak with Ayumi, the informant who led my friends to me the previous night.
大丈夫？お腹でも痛いの？
Are you alright? Does your stomach hurt? I responded with a dismissive gesture while continuing to rub my abdomen with my other hand. Ever since the previous night, I'd had this constant, unbearable urge to pee.
なんだろう。昨日怖い思いして過呼吸が続いたから、体がおかしいのかな。
What the hell is wrong with me? I mean, I know I got really scared and I started hyperventilating, but can this really affect my body like this? Did it change something in me?
ずっと膀胱が膨らんでる気がする。
My bladder feels like it's going to burst.
何から話そうかしら。
So, where shall we begin? Aiko tilted her head and stared at me, looking me up and down, seemingly judging my every mannerism, my every movement. It was making me feel really self-conscious. I covered my abdomen with both hands, as if guarding it from her gaze.
昨日はありがとうございました。
Thank you for your help yesterday.
いいえ、大したことはしていないわ。如月学園って案外広いので、岸沼くんたちを探すのに少し手間取ってしまったわ。
Think nothing of it. I only regret that your friends couldn't get here sooner. Kisarasi Academy is quite large, so it took some time to track down Kisanuma and the others. Kisanuma and I stared at one another, still unsure how to feel about this new, strange addition to our entourage.
あゆみちゃん、岸沼くん。あなたたちって天神小学校の生還者よね。
Ayumi, Kisanuma, you two are survivors from Heavenly Host Elementary, are you not? We'd pledged never to discuss Heavenly Host with anyone else, which we'd always assumed would be an easy promise to keep. But right now, casually and out of the blue, here we are.
なんであんたそのことを。
Why? How do you know about that?
あなたたち死後の世界に接してきたでしょう。通常人間には身につかないオーラの色をしているわ。私には見えるの。
Well, you've been touched by the ever after. When people come into contact with this beyond, the color of their aura changes to something otherworldly, something I can see. Both Kisanuma and I were speechless. I just sat there staring at my palm, subconsciously trying to see my aura. I guess Aiko was smiling at us tremendously.
愛子さんは霊能関係の情報屋で、ナホさんのお友達なんですよね。
You said you were an intelligence agent, was it? For the supernatural? You're a friend of Noho's?
ええ、ナホちゃんに天神小学校の情報を提供したのは私。
That's correct. I'm the one who tipped her off about Heavenly Host Elementary, in fact. The true source of the deaths and the subsequent insurers that had turned our lives into a living nightmare was the Sehiko Ever After ritual posted on Noho's occult blog. I've been a fan of Noho's for quite some time, so when I saw that, I knew I had to try it out with my friends from class 2-9. And as a result, half of those friends were now gone.
ナホちゃんがキビキ先生のために霊能探偵をやっていたことは知っているわよね。
I suppose you're aware that Noho was involved in supernatural investigations on behalf of one Mr. Kabiki, no?
はい。幸せの幸子さんの情報が掲載されてから失踪されたことも。
I am, and I know she hasn't been seen since posting information on the Sehiko Ever After.
私はね、心霊スポットや霊能関係の情報を集めて、それを欲しがる人に有償で提供してきた。
Well, my business is of a similar nature. I gather data from spiritual hotspots and other supernatural encounters, and sell that data to my clients for a fair profit.
報酬はお金、もしくは私の興味をそそる霊具の類。相手によってふっかけ方も変えるけれど。
Not always for money, mind you. Sometimes I'll do my dirty work in exchange for a particular spirit item that perks my interest. It all depends on whom I'm dealing with.
まあ、ギブアンドテイクよね。向こうは情報が欲しい。私はお金と霊具が欲しい。
It's entirely give and take. They want my information, and I want their cash, or their artifacts. Physically, Aiko was a very attractive young lady, but personality-wise, the jury was still out. Her words were calculated and emotionless. Her true intentions a mystery.
だから私は情報屋をやっているの。なおちゃんもいいお客さんだったわ。あの子が最後に買ったのが天神小学校の情報。
One could call me an information dealer, but I prefer information agent, and Noho was a good customer. My info on Heavenly Host proved to be her last purchase, however.
なほちゃん、これでキビキ先生の小説がなんとか賞を取れるってすごくはしゃいでた。
At the time, Noho was single-mindedly excited about Mr. Kabiki's work. She believed he could qualify for some award with the information I found for her.
ねえ、教えてくれる？あなたたちの閉じ込められたあの異空間に、ナホちゃんはいた？
Say, could you tell me, was Noho there? In that other world you found yourself trapped in? Wouldn't you know that, Aiko? You're the one who sent her there, didn't you? You knew how much she wanted to do it, so...
ナホさんは、キビキ先生と一緒に亡くなっていました。
Noho died, together with Mr. Kabiki. I looked down as I answered. Despite everything she'd done, the memory of Noho's passing was still painful for me. She'd become one of Heavenly Host's lost souls, and gone completely berserk. In the end, I was the one who finished her off.
そう、やっぱりね。
I see. I assumed as much. Aiko seemed completely unaffected by this revelation. Her tone remained even, and her expression cold and distant. Honestly, I had about enough of her by this point. She was so devoid of empathy. It was almost offensive. I was genuinely starting to get pissed off.
平気なんですか？
And you're okay with that?
残念だと思うわ。でも予想はついていたから、わざわざ取り乱す必要もないでしょ。
I do feel bad for her. I do feel sorry for her. Don't get me wrong, but I had a strong feeling things would end up this way. There's no point in lamenting that for which I was fully prepared. Kishinuma continued to stare intently at Aiko with his own brand of cold, emotionless eyes. He was oddly quiet, though. His anger was palpable. I clenched my fists.
じゃ、この子はおまじないを一緒に行ったと思うんだけど、あっちにはいたかしら。
What about this girl? I believe Sheba performed the ritual alongside Noho. Did you see her there as well? Aiko showed us a photo of a girl named Sayaka Ui.
いえ、会ってないからわかりません。
No, I can't say I've ever met her.
そう。
I see. Aiko's expression was so unfiltering. You could curve it in stone. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to say something.
なほさんのこと、お客さんだなんて。そんなの、友達って言わないと思います。
If you're calling Noho your customer, I don't think you can really say you were her friend. My voice was breaking with rage, but even if it hadn't been the case, my face must have read like a book. This icy bitch may have had only one expression, but I sure didn't.
あら、あなたは客って言葉に対して随分と偏見を持っているのね。取引を行う以上、私はそこに最大の誠意とクオリティを提供する。
Oh my, do you have something against that word? When I deal with my customers, I give them a guarantee of the utmost quality and dedicate myself to their satisfaction.
つまりそれがパートナーとしての信用で、フレンドシップにも負けないものだと思っているけれど。
It's an unbreakable bond of trust, like one would have for a partner. And that's not always something you can say about friendship now, is it?
そんなこと。
I had no idea what to say. It seemed like Aiko was used to this sort of thing. Her response felt carefully rehearsed, like a sales pitch. Finally, Kishinuma broke his silence.
あんたよ。昨日篠崎を助けてくれたことは感謝する。けどよ。金やなんかの見返りのために、そんなろくでもない情報を拡散させるなんて、旗迷惑だと思わねえのか。
Hey, I do want to thank you for helping us save Shinozaki yesterday, really. But spreading dangerous information just to pay the bills? How the hell can you sleep at night?
情報は情報よ。それ自体に罪はないわ。道具と同じ。それをどう使うかは使い手の問題でしょ。
Information is just that. Information is harmless on its own. There's no good or bad. It's like a tool. It's up to the recipient how it's used. Aiko does have a point on that one. Information isn't really that bad on its own, but information in the wrong hands is bad, because then they can do whatever they want with it. For example, if you just tell someone that this person killed somebody and you knew of this somebody, you yourself have the option to either kill this person, which is bad, or call the police and arrest the guy, which is good. So if they do something bad, then that's their fault because the information was just provided. So it didn't choose to kill that person. What you did with that information was up to you, and you chose to kill that person. But that being said, Aiko kind of manipulated Noho in a way because he knew how much Noho wanted to appease Mr. Kabiki, because Mr. Kabiki was her. She admired Mr. Kabiki like a boyfriend, so she knew that Noho would do anything for him, even going to Heavenly Host, and that's why she provided that information. Because he knew Noho would do that, so in a way, yeah, her providing that information wasn't harmful, but she also manipulated Noho's feelings because she knew how much Noho wanted to essentially make Mr. Kabiki's work of investigating paranormal succeed. So she knew that Noho would want to go to the school. Yeah, she probably didn't know Noho was going to die, but still, that was still kind of her fault. And we know that Aiko knew of Mr. Kabiki because she said that, I forgot exactly what she said, but she said something about she said something about Noho died trying to appease trying to like search for Mr. Kabiki or something like that. So she did know of Mr. Kabiki. So Aiko just manipulated Noho. Aiko's just a manipulator, which is why she's also cold and calculated.
その気になれば、その辺にあるコップでも人は殺せてしまうのよ。
Anything can be harmful in the wrong hands, after all. Why, that cup over there could be used to kill a man just as easily as any knife. That is true.
なあ、詭弁じゃねえかよ。
The hell it could. That's bullshit, and you know it.
あなたもそう思う？あゆみちゃん。
Ayumi, do you agree?
愛子さん。ごめんなさい。私は、あなたの考え方嫌いです。無責任だと思います。
Aiko, I'm sorry, but I hate the way you think. I feel it's irresponsible. You know, that's actually a really good wording trait that Ayumi said. She said irresponsible instead of wrong. Because if it was wrong, Aiko still would have done it either way because he doesn't care if the information hurts anyone. Because she's trying to make a profit. And as he said, information is information, so she wouldn't care if it was wrong. But because Ayumi said irresponsible, that's a better wording choice because it's irresponsible of Aiko to manipulate people into giving them information that they know would then be used to try to do something in a particular way. So this is a good wording choice for Ayumi. Her expression remained calm and collected overall, but her eyes blinked several times in rapid succession. It was the first outward sign of emotion we'd seen from her. So I think Ayumi's choice of irresponsible wording may have caused a reaction in Aiko.
やれやれ、ひどい嫌われようね。慣れてるけど、悲しいわ。
Well now, it seems I've come to be regarded as something of a villain here. I can't say this is new or unexpected, but it never ceases to be disheartening. You know what? What if... Because it does seem that Aiko does care in a way, because he had that reaction to Ayumi basically saying it was irresponsible of her to provide that information. So Aiko did have that emotional reaction. So what if she's actually being like blackmailed or possessed into acting cold and calculated? Because it does seem that she regretted her words as soon as Ayumi said it was irresponsible for her. So she does have some type of like moral compass. So I don't know. I just feel like Aiko is probably just being possessed or manipulated to do this. She's probably just being manipulated to be cold and calculated. But hopefully I'll find out as the story progresses if I'm right or wrong. Aiko quickly shrugged off her sudden outburst, and she was back to her usual icy self.
まあ、天神症は俺らがぶっ壊してきたからいいけどよ。
It doesn't matter anyway. We destroyed Heavenly Host. It's gone. An awkward tension filled the room, or at least our table.
じゃ、本題に入りましょうか。私があなたたちに近づいた理由、伝えたいことについて。
Let's get down to business, then. There's a reason I sought you out, something I wanted to discuss with you. Aiko produced a thick, hardbound file folder from the light blue bag she brought with her. She opened it to reveal several documents of a questionable nature. Among them were what looked to be a family tree, as well as numerous pages featuring black magic symbology or images that looked like tree branches.
黒魔術の文字対応表。篠崎家の家系図。
Black magic spell charts? And is that the Shinozaki family tree?
少しショッキングなことを伝えるわね。
You may find what I'm about to tell you a bit shocking. Aiko was looking directly into my eyes now. Her gaze was fixed, intense, and unblinking.
さっき岸沼くんが言ったことだけれど、間違いよ。
What Kishinuma said a moment ago is incorrect.
あ？何がだよ。
What do you mean?
天神小学校は壊れてなどいない。今もまだ存在し続けているのよ。
Heavenly Host Elementary has not been destroyed. It still exists, even now.
これを見て。
Take a look at this. Aiko placed a black and white photo on the table. It wasn't the clearest of pictures, but there was no doubt that the location it depicted was Heavenly Host Elementary. In the picture, a small girl could be seen standing in one of those all too familiar hallways, holding a hatchet in her right hand.
天神小学校。
It's Heavenly Host.
なんだよ。 これ。
Where did this come from?
やっぱり。これは私が念写したものよ。力が足りなくて少し不鮮明ではあるけれど、今現在のあの空間、天神小学校の様子。
We have confirmation then. It's a photograph I've taken. I didn't have the power to produce a clear image, but this is the current state within Heavenly Host. We have confirmation? So that means Aiko says, so she's pretending, she's giving out bit by, she's pretending to, she doesn't fully trust them. And she wants the information that they know. And that's because she already knows that this is Heavenly Host. Because he sent Noho there. And if she didn't take this photograph, then she wouldn't have known. And obviously she knew that Ayumi and Kishinuma went there, so she's playing dumb. She's trying to extract information from them.
一体、どういうことなんですか？
I don't understand. What am I looking at? I can't even describe what was going through my head at that moment. I felt like I was about to burst. Aiko, however, remained calm as ever, while recounting her story.
順を追って説明するわね。まず、昨日の例の赤い箱だけれど、開けると、このレーグが出てきたの。
Let's start at the beginning. First, the red box from yesterday. After some time, I was able to open it, and I found these spirit items contained within. The box I found in McKenna's futon. Inside it were apparently two stones resembling megatama, kama-shaped ceremonial objects from Japan's antiquity. Also included in the box were several more roughly hewn stones, as well as a lining along the edges consisting of crumbled pieces of thin white paper.
残念ながら箱の中でほとんど割れていたけれど、この一組は無事だったわ。
Unfortunately, most of the box contents were broken or damaged. This pair, however, was still fully intact. They looked almost like a demented version of yin and yang symbols. Puzzle pieces that were clearly built to be soldered together. Aiko now held one stone in each hand and was monitoring them toward one another, as if to drive that point home.
レーグというのはね、簡単に言えば死者の思いが込められたもののことで、
Spirit items are, in the simplest terms, items which have been infused with the thoughts and feelings of the dead.
物に閉じ込められた霊、またはその生前の記憶が持つ者に永遠と泣き言を語りかけてくる愉快なものよ。
Those who bear such objects will be visited by the spirits within them, or at the very least, be forever privy to their memories and earthly laments. It's a wonderful thing.
私はこう見えて無類のレーグコレクターでもあるの。
I may not quite look this part, but I'm actually quite an avid collector of spirit items. Kishinuma and I briefly locked eyes again. We shared the same look of bewilderment. Aiko's personality was much more twisted than either of us had initially perceived it to be.
この子の意志を読もうとするとね、呪わしい声と一緒におさげの少女や廃校の風景が見えてきたのよ。
I tried to get a fix on the single girl's thoughts, and in doing so, I heard a vengeful cry, and saw an image of a girl with braided hair in an abandoned school building.
で、気になったからこのカメラに。
My curiosity having been piqued, I took out this camera. At this, she produced an old instant camera and placed it on the table in front of us.
私の念を写してみたの。それがその写真。
And tried to take a picture of the image in my mind. The result is that shot.
私がこのレーグを使って、その時の今現在を念写したものよ。過去や未来の時間を超えた念写は、私にはできないから。
This particular spirit item only allows me to produce images from the exact moment in time when the picture is taken. The past and future alike are beyond its reach. I examined the photograph in greater detail, and a chill ran down my spine. There was absolutely no denying what it depicted.
そんな。
No. I was actually shaking.
篠崎幸子を失ったあの学校は、私たちが逆打ちで脱出した際に崩壊したはず。
Without Seihiko Shinazaki, the school should have been collapsed. It should have ceased to exist as soon as we escaped.
でも、寸前のところでとどまった。ってところかしら。私に語りかけてくる声の主がまだいるのかもね。
I believe the collapse was halted, perhaps right on the brink even. Maybe because of the person to whom that voice I heard belongs. I go motion towards the photo in my head.
例えば、写真の女の子とか誰かしらね、この子。
It could even be the girl in that picture. I wonder who she is. The answer was beginning to dawn on me. A sudden cold sensation exploded through my body, and I shrugged, as if trying to shake off the encroaching realization.
くそ、あの地獄みたいな場所がまだ存在してるってのかよ。
God damn it! You really think that hellhole is still around? Kishinuma leaned forward. The conversation was clearly beginning to enrage him a lot more than it had been.
その天神小学校。いえ、学校の形をしたあの異空間だけれど、ナホちゃんに紹介した手前、私も気になって調べていたの。
Heavenly Host Elementary, or rather, the dimensional space that took on the form of Heavenly Host Elementary, fascinated me from the moment I introduced it to Noho.
あの異空間の正体はね、涅槃という死後の世界に近い磁場なのよ。
I began to research it independently and learned that its true form is, well, something like a new nirvana, a netherworld, or hereafter, an otherworldly plane of death.
普通はこの世とは別の次元に存在するものなのだけれど、
Though ordinarily one tends to think of there being only this world and the next.
涅槃？
A new nirvana?
ええ。篠崎義恵については知っているわよね。
That's correct. You know about Yoshi Shinazaki, do you not?
はい。
Yeah.
篠崎の家、義恵の診療所に黒の本と呼ばれる魔導書、ブック・オブ・シャドウズがあったことも。
And of her clinic, the Shinazaki estate, wherein the grammar known as the Book of Shadows was located.
はい。
Why? How could she know about that? A million thoughts, a million questions were running through my head. I was speechless. All I could do was sit there and hear her out. It was like a muffled scream or a moan of agony. The sound you make when you want to make a sound, but are barely able to. That one was a little more forceful, accompanied by thrashing. It caused the nearby table light to fall over and roll onto the floor ground.
あなた落ち着いてお願い
Please, dear. Come now. You need to stay calm. This was Yoshi Shinazaki's clinic. And Yoshi herself was on top of her husband, holding him down with both of her hands. She continued her Sento purification chant. To prevent Senji from biting off his own tongue, he had been gagged with a towel. Needless to say, he wasn't looking particularly well. Not far from where this was occurring, Shohiki stood aghast, trembling as he watched the proceedings with hesitant, sidelong glances.
かきまくも賢きイザナギの狼尽くしのひむかの立花のほどの淡い原にみそぎ払えたまいしときにありまする払い戸の狼たち
Saidi, still collapsed on the floor, was clearly suffering. His body was bent into a most unnatural shape, and he was frantically clawing at his neck.
もろもろの漫画ごと積み汚れあらもば払いたまえ清めたまえた回すことのよしはわずかみ国すかみ八百万の神たちともに気こしめせとかしこみも回す
Sehiko's father screamed through his gag, foam beginning to float out from its edges. He was going into kynosis. Ghastly images of the Shinozaki woman from ages past smiled down upon the events of the selling, laughing and mocking his suffering. Worse still, some of the women had traditionally beckoned teeth, giving their smiles an unnaturally sinister edge. The atmosphere within the room was heavy, as if spirits occupied every empty corner, dancing and flitting around freely and joyously. CJ's body sharply bent and began convulsing.
荒れませる払い戸の狼たちあなたしっかり三親の御霊様お願いです連れて行かないでください
Her great-grandmother, Saira, the head of the Shinozaki family, was among the black-teethed women laughing joyously at Cindy's suffering. Daddy! His voice began to weaken, and his convulsions began to lose strength. Finally, the last spark of life had left his body. His eyes rolled back into his head, and all movement ceased.
お父さん、息してないよ。
Daddy, why aren't you breathing? Sehiko looked up, eyes glazed over with tears. Yoshi, too, was stricken with grief and despair.
霊能力者の血筋、篠崎の者と結婚した夫は必ず早々の死を遂げる。呪われた家の運命に抗えなかった義恵は、
This is what it means to be a Shinazaki, to be part of that cursed bloodline. All men who marry in are guaranteed to die quickly. Not even Yoshi could circumvent that fate.
心ない者たちから守るよう篠崎の家に託されていた禁忌の本に手をつける。
So she turned to that forbidden book, an item she and her family had been protecting for generations from those who might misuse it.
それが黒の本、ブック・オブ・シャドウズ。
The grimoire, the Book of Shadows.
愛する者を失う。そのことを恐れるあまり黒魔術に頼ったの。まさに荒唐無稽でバカな話よね。
To lose a loved one was a fate she feared more than anything else. So she tried to offset it through black magic. It was an act of truly absurd foolishness.
義恵自身もすがれるものなら何でもいい程度にしか思っていなかったと思うわ。
She must have cared for him so deeply she would have literally done anything to see him again, no matter the cost to her own immortal soul. Aiko stared deeply into my eyes, seemingly fishing for a reaction to her tale.
ところが、まさか、信じられないことが起こる。
But then, what happened next was almost beyond belief. I continued listening, unknowingly stroking the wound on my thigh, as unpleasant memories of my own foolish run-in with black magic resurfaced.
義恵の体に流れる篠崎の血筋。その強い霊力に想像もつかない何かが呼応してしまった。
The Shinazaki blood that flowed through Yoshi's veins was more powerful than anyone could have known. Its energy spawned something much different than what Yoshi intended.
それは、
By which, of course, I mean... I instantly knew what she was going to say.
義恵の術で本の中から呼び覚まされた何か。それは、涅槃。
From the book, she created a new nirvana.
未来永劫、死者と共にいられる場所。死後の世界を切り取った空間がこの世に生まれてしまったの。
There, one could coexist with the dead for all eternity. It was a new dimension cut from Netherworld itself, forcibly burned into the world of the living. Forcibly born into the living. Okay, so Yoshi created Heavenly Host Elementary, or that new dimensional space known as Heavenly Host Elementary, because she wanted to see her husband again.
義恵はもう半分正気を失っていたのね。一人娘の幸子を現世に残して、自分は夫の魂と共に生涯をそこで添い遂げようとした。
Yoshi must have lost half her sanity right there. She tried to leave her only child, Shihiko, in the real world, while living with her husband's soul in the new nirvana.
ランド・オブ・コープス。
The land of corpses.
ところが、涅槃には意志があり、義恵の手でコントロールできるものではなかったの。
However, this nirvana had a mind of its own. Yoshi couldn't possibly control it. Senazaki or no. I knew that all too well. Just like Yoshi, I experienced my own tragic failure with black magic at the Senazaki clinic.
黒魔術には障害反動がある。夫の魂はバラバラに飛散し、ヨシエの命も消えかけた。
Black magic has its own blowback of sorts. Her husband's soul was split apart. Her husband's soul was split apart and scattered in all directions, and Yoshi's life too was on the verge of being snuffed out.
自分の愚かな行為を悔やみながら呼吸を止めようとしたその時。
She knew she'd made a mistake. She deeply regretted it, and as she took what she could have only assumed to be her dying breath.
底なしに霊能力の強い一人娘幸子が涅槃を丸ごと体の中に飲み込んだの。
Her sole daughter, Sahiko, in possession of a nearly limitless spiritual power, absorbed the entirety of this new nirvana into her body.
幸子が。
Sahiko? The poor girl collapsed on the floor, violently thrashing about as the weight of an entire dimension crushed her from the inside. This action had saved her mother's life, certainly, but death would have surely been preferable. Picking herself up, Yoshi rushed to her daughter's side in tears.
幸子！さっちゃん！あなた。
Sahiko. Why?
お母さん死なないで！お母さん！
Mommy, don't die, Mommy. Oh, so that's why she did that. Because she wanted to save her mom's life. So she trapped Heavenly Host Elementary into her own body. Both parent and child were bawling. Pain mixing with relief, mixing with pain again. The little girl buried her face into Yoshi's bosom and just cried and cried. Yoshi grasped her tightly in both arms, tears streaming down her face uncontrollably. By this point, Sahiko's body has begun producing a dark blue aura.
ごめんね、さっちゃん。ごめんね。お母さん間違ってた。
I'm sorry, Sachi. I'm so sorry. Mommy was wrong.
お母さんにはあなたがいるわ。もうあなたを置いていこうだなんて思わないから。
Mommy has you. So from now on, Mommy will never leave you. She'll never even think of leaving you again. Until she was violently murdered by the head of Kakarashi, by the head of Heavenly Host Elementary. And then Sahiko was murdered by him as well, which caused Sahiko to be vengeful and kill everyone. Because she really wanted to get revenge on the principal. And then, after she got revenge on the principal by killing him, she wanted her mom back so bad that she thought by killing everyone that her mom would come back to life.
「あなたも知っての通り、幸子も篠崎家当主直系の血を引くサラブレッド。
As you know, Sahiko is a direct Sehiko is a direct descendant of the Shinozaki line, a thoroughbred.
ヨシエを超えるほどの霊能力を持っていたのね。涅槃を丸ごと体内に封じ込めるなんてものすごいことよ。
This means her power is even greater than Yoshi's. It had to be, of course, for her to house an entire dimension within her body. Oh, so does that mean Yoshi was... Okay. So Yoshi isn't a direct descendant. Aiko took a big, noisy sip from her coffee mug.
当時ほとんど最強の霊能者だったんじゃないかしら。まだほんの小さな子供だったけれど。
At the time, she must have been the strongest practitioner of dark arts in the world. Middle girl or no?
でもその幸子が死んでしまって。
Yet despite that, she wound up dying.
そう。保健医ヨシエの転落事故と同時に幸子が行方不明になった。50年前のあの事件。
That's right. The same day Yoshi fell and died, Sehiko disappeared. That was 50 years ago now.
あれは校長による殺人事件でした。
They were both killed by the principal.
やはりそうなのね。
Just as I suspected.
校長が余計なことをしでかしたおかげで幸子の中に吸い込まれて封印されていた涅槃が復活し、あの異空間天神小学校が生まれてしまったのよ。
The principal's heinous actions are to blame then for resurrecting the new nirvana within Sehiko and creating the closed spaces we know as Heavenly Host Elementary. It's probably because the school was the site of Sehiko's violent demise that her nirvana took on its form.
とはいえ復活した涅槃も資料として蘇った幸子の力で再び抑制されて、やっぱりその支配下に置かれていたようだけれど。
Yet even then, with Sehiko reborn as a spirit in that realm, she was still all-powerful, seemingly continually to exert complete control over it.
幸子がいろんな力を使えたのもその涅槃の影響だったのかしら。
I guess that's why she was able to manifest so many different horrible things in there. This was all starting to make a sick sort of sense. The pieces were falling into place and painting an absolutely awful picture. I shuddered to myself as I considered it.
現在はあなたたちが脱出の際に幸子を取り除いてしまったから、涅槃は再び暴走状態になっているのよ。
When you escaped, you removed Sehiko from the equation, but the nirvana remained, and is going berserk once more.
なくなってしまえばよかったのに。あんな危険な場所。
It should have just disappeared. This world would be better off without it. This entire conversation was a roller coaster of emotions for me. At this point, I was just angry at everyone involved in this whole ordeal, myself included.
さて、ここで少し突飛な話をするわよ。ついてきてね。
Now then, if I may, I'd like to discuss something a little bit outlandish with you.
はい。
Okay?
死んだ友達にまた会いたい？
Would you like to see your dead friends again? Oh, I see where this is going. Aiko was trying to manipulate Ayumi into visiting Heavenly Host Elementary. That certainly got our attention. We both perked our heads up immediately.
涅槃で死んだ霊は成仏できずに囚われ続けるというわ。お友達の魂だってまだあそこにいるかもしれない。
Spirits that have died in the nirvana are said to roam its grounds, trapped and unable to find rest. As such, your friend's souls may still be in that plane.
実はね、黒の本、ブックオブシャドウズにはいろんな魔術が書かれているの。
There are actually a number of useful magics listed in the Book of Shadows.
ヨシエの使った涅槃を生み出す術の他にも、反言の術というものもある。
Aside from the spell Yoshi used to create the new nirvana, there's also a spell of revival. Interesting. There's probably no spell of revival. Namakashi and I knew about that one all too well.
命を無理やり戻すなんて敬虔な宗教家に言わせれば、神のおぼし飯に背く背徳の行為だと言われそうだけれどね。
Okay, never mind. There actually is a spell of revival. Forcibly returning a life to this plane is, of course, dreadfully taboo, as it's considered an affront to the realm god by virtually all religious organizations.
Huh?
Huh? Kisanuma seemed a bit more confused than he probably should have been, though I suspect the look on my face may have had something to do with that. I performed that spell, the very one Aiko was describing. It took hours, failed miserably, and killed my sister, all at once. The guilt returned. I lowered my head sullenly. Okay, so if it killed your sister, then don't try to do it again, because it might kill them too. It might kill your friends again. Aiko grinned at me, and I had this sinking suspicion it was because she somehow knew what I was thinking. Though I couldn't be sure, and I certainly didn't know how she would.
けれど、そんなものはクソくらいよね。冒涜も破壊も何でも来いよ。
Still, who cares about bullshit like that, right? You can be blasphemous. You can break every commandment. Bring it on.
死んだ友達を生き返らせたいんでしょ？
You'll do whatever it takes to resurrect your dead friends, no?
だったら、あの本を探し出し、天神小学校でもう一度あの術を行えば、成功する可能性は飛躍的に上がるんじゃないかしら。
All you have to do is find that book and cast that spell once more within Heavenly Host Elementary. Your chances of success would be much, much higher there, don't you think? Oh, okay, so that's giving Ayumi the motivation, the information on how to do the spell and succeed, probably.
おい、あんた何無責任なこと言ってやがんだ。またヤバいことになったらどうすん。
Hold on. Do you have any idea what you're saying? What happens if things got even worse? I didn't exactly mean to interrupt Kisanuma, but quite honestly, I didn't even realize he was talking. I was too focused on what Aiko had just said.
あなたは知っているんですね。私と中島さんの吉江の家での失敗を。
You know about it, don't you? A failed attempt at Yoshi's place? Me and Nakashima? Aiko tilted her head at me, that same smile creeping across her face. She gone from cold and emotionless to knowing and expressive in a mere instant.
あの時のことは夢幻だったと思っています。
I don't think we wrongly believed what was happening to us. It was like a dream.
ありえないものを見て、ありえない体験をして、私はおかしくなっていたって。
What we saw was impossible. What we experienced was impossible. I thought I was going insane.
してはいけないこと。あんなこと。もう、忘れたいの。
It shouldn't have been possible. You shouldn't have done it. I want to put all of this behind me.
でも現実だった。
But it was real. Aiko pointed to the scar on my neck, then went one step further and lightly brushed it with her hand. I could feel that touch deep within my soul. I suddenly found myself swallowing my next breath, practically choking on thin air.
いい？人が本来触れることすらできない世の常識の裏側にあなたは手を突っ込んだのよ。
See? You came in contact with something ordinary people could never even imagine.
今さら逃げられると思う？
Do you really think you can just turn tail and run from that now? I looked down again, trying my best to avoid Aiko's gaze.
私に、そんなことが。
Do you really think I can do it? When had I started crying? I raised my head again, intent upon looking deep into Aiko's eyes as she answered my question, but she looked so blurry through my tears. I could tell, though, that she was smiling at me. It was that same expression, her new standard.
ん？そんなことって何？
Oh, that smile is the smile of satisfaction that Aiko has. By successfully manipulating you, Ayumi. And you're buying into this. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Can you be more specific?
みんなを。
Can I really?
何？あなたの口からちゃんと聞きたいな。どうしたいの？
Yes. What is it? I want to hear you say it. What exactly is it that you wish to accomplish?
帰らせ。
Can I bring everyone back?
よく言えました。
Nicely done. Aiko patted my head, as one might a dog's after a successfully performed trick.
黒の本が生み出すのは魔女の英知が起こす奇跡よ。それは運命をもねじ曲げる力。
What the Grimoire produces are miracles, spawned from the wisdom of the witches, and these miracles hold the power to bend fate.
たとえそれが確定した運命であろうともね。
Even if that fate is set in stone, so to speak. So who are the witches? Are the witches the WI from the previous episode that Mamora was talking about? Because if so, she was being manipulated. Or she was being blackmailed. So maybe Aiko is also being blackmailed into doing this by that girl.
あなたは強力な霊能者の家系、篠崎家の末裔。日野江さんがいない今、これはあなたにしかできないことかもしれない。
You are a descendant of the house of Shinozaki, a family of immensely powerful practitioners of magic. And since Hinoue is no longer with us, this is something only you can do. My confidence was being bolstered by the minute, though in retrospect, that was likely Aiko's aim. Nevertheless, if there was still something I could do for my friends.
だけど、肝心のブックオブシャドウズがどこに行ったのかもわからないし、それに。
But wait, I don't even know where the Book of Shadows is anymore. Plus,
幸子を失った天神賞には、幸せの幸子さんのおまじないではもう行けない？
you're no longer able to travel to Heavenly Host by way of the Seihiko Ever After ritual now. That Seihiko is gone, correct?
そうだと思います。あの学校で、菅野ゆきちゃんという女の子に聞きました。
Yeah, that's right. That's what you wait. Yeah, that's right. That's what Yuki said. Anyway, Yuki Kano? Girl from the school? Yeah, the girl with the eye missing from the corpse party original game. Aiko once again placed that Boris White Megatama stones from the box in either hand, this time fitting them together, though not quite the way they were supposed to interlock.
そこで、これよ。
That's where these come in.
それは、一体。
What are they?
ものすごい霊力を持ってる。さすが篠崎の霊具ね。声が教えてくれたわ。
They house an exceptional amount of spiritual energy, as one would expect, given that they're spirit items from the Senazaki line. The voice I heard told me about them.
これは幸せの石。
They're called Ever After Stones.
幸せの石。
Ever After Stones? I leaned forward despite myself. The name sent a shiver down my spine, but now that I heard it, I had to know more.
この石は2つで1つなの。これをパズルのようにくっつけて、涅槃よ、死人を迎えよ、と唱えれば、触れている者みんながいつでも天神小学校へ飛べるわ。
These two are one. Put them together like puzzle pieces and chant Nirvana. I summon the dead, and all who are in direct or indirect contact with them shall be spirited away. We both flinched at that chant, but Aiko just smiled. She must have intentionally urinated the stones the wrong way, so the charm wouldn't activate.
戻る時も同じ。
It's the same when you return. She tossed the stones she'd been holding in her right hand into her left, where it clanked together with one another.
不思議でしょ？この子が教えてくれたのよ。この方法。
Strange, isn't it? This girl taught me the technique herself. This is a lot of exposition in this episode. Aiko gazed longingly at the stones. She was clearly utterly enamored by them. It seemed as if they were the key factors in unleashing her newfound emotional expressiveness. But my focus was elsewhere. Without a doubt, the items Aiko now held in her left hand were extraordinarily dangerous, possibly the most dangerous horrific artifacts in the entire world. However, while Aiko was ogling them with her left hand, her right was feeling around for something in her breast pocket. She slowly removed it, producing an old black and white photograph. When had she taken that? It was the same photograph I'd seen at McKenna's Shinazaki's house the previous night. It depicted a young Yoshi along her mother and McKenna.
10代だった篠崎義恵は、おばの牧菜のことを慕って、よく家に遊びに行っていたそうよ。
When Yoshi was in her teens, she adored her Aunt McKenna and would often go over to her place to visit.
世界的に有名な霊能師の家系である篠崎家。ここならと。
The Shinozaki family were all famous for their spiritual abilities, and this was when it all started.
ヤゴーラ教会の生き残り。ヤゴーラの沖縄が危険だからとマルトゥバから盗み出してきたブック・オブ・シャドウズを預けに来たんだけれど。
The surviving elder of the Yagoria Society felt it was too dangerous to leave these items with the Martabas, so he came here intending to steal the Book of Shadows away from them.
それが揃うと危ないからと、石はマキナが、本はヨシエが預かって保管することに決めたそうよ。
But he felt it would be even more dangerous for the book and stones to remain together. So while he gave the book to Yoshi for safekeeping, he gave the stones to McKenna. Yagora Society, Martabas. I never heard of these terms before at all. And then there was that damned Book of Shadows again. Why did that have to keep coming up?
あなたたちはあの学校から篠崎幸子を取り除いた。それによって大きな可能性が広がったわ。
You removed Sahiko Shinozaki from that school, and in doing so, you created the perfect storm of opportunity.
これまでのような一方通行ではなく、現世に戻ってくることができる。この世のものではない異空間心霊スポットが生まれているの。
Two-way travel to and from that dimension is now possible. It's no longer a one-way road. A new spiritual hotspot, something not of this world, has been born. She thrust the ever-after stones towards me triumphantly and continued to make her pitch, growing more excitingly by the second. I was legitimately speechless. What else could I say?
わかるかしら。まさにあの場所は宝の山よ。
Don't you see? That place is a gold mine.
これまで眉唾、嘘800と笑われていた霊魂の世界への扉が開いたの。世界中のオカルト研究が一気に加速するわ。
People can no longer claim the world of spirits is fake, or that spiritual investigators like myself are lying. It's all different now. Occult research can be legitimized. You're sounding awfully like NoHo now.
私はね、商売としてあの空間へ人を連れて行くツアーコンダクターをやろうと思うの。
I'm even considering bringing people to that cursed dimension a tour if I can, to make a little extra cash. That's a horrible idea. People are gonna die. But then again, she doesn't care because information doesn't kill people. She's just manipulating the people's emotions to go there. And then their spirits are gonna die, but are gonna kill them. But hey, Aiko didn't kill them herself. The spirits did. She just had the information to bring them to the place. Aiko's a manipulator through and through. Kisa Numa and I both reacted to this preposterous suggestion with a start. She couldn't possibly be serious, could she?
ナホちゃんのブログからは片白のデータは削除したし、あの手段ではもう飛べない。行く方法は私しか持っていない。
I've deleted the proxy doll data from NoHo's blog, so no one will be able to jump that way anymore. Only I possess the means to enter the place now. Of course, this was her entire plan. What could she possibly have? been thinking. I wanted to stop her at once. I wanted to say those stones. I wanted to take those stones and break them, right there, on the spot, before anyone else got hurt. But
私はね、ツアーを運営するにあたって安全を確保したいの。
When I began conducting these tours, however, I want to make customer safety my top priority.
あゆみちゃんはお友達の霊を探したいでしょ？だったら、あの空間の再調査は共通の目的にならないかしら。
And you see your friend's spirits, do you not? Well, reinvestigating that dimension could help you reach that goal. Our destinations are the same. Ayumi. Aiko leaned in as she spoke, her breath scented with the sugary sweetness of the extravagant desserts we'd been eating. Tickled my nose.
ね、あゆみちゃん。私と一緒にもう一度天神小学校に行ってくれない？
So what do you say? Let's go back to Heavenly Host Elementary together. One more time. Shall we?
本来は片白を引きちぎる方法でツアーをやろうと思っていたんだけど、こんな便利なアイテムが見つかっちゃったんだもの。これはもう運命よ。私やるわ。商売にする。
I really wanted to conduct tours using the paper dogs, but missed my chance now. Now though, I have these lovely stones. I feel this must be fate, and I can make a business of it. Aiko seemed like she was on top of the world, but that just made all the more disgusted with her.
どうかしら。
So how about it? On the other hand, she was offering me a chance to save our lost friends, and however remote that chance may have been, it stacked the odds favorably in her favor. I still couldn't say yes, but I also couldn't say no. Honestly, I resented Aiko for putting me in this position. I glared at her for a moment before I said anything.
すぐに答えを出せるわけがないでしょ。考えさせてください。
I can't answer that right now. Give me some time to think it over. I'd almost forgotten Kishinuma was there. Sudden waves of guilt washed over me. He had an absolutely incredulous look on his face. I couldn't bear to see it, so I looked away.
ブックオブシャドウズだってどこにあるかわからないし、そもそもその石だって本当にそんな力があるかもわからないじゃないですか。
We don't know where the Book of Shadows is anyway. Plus, how do we know those stones can actually do what you say they can?
実際に試したわけじゃないのでしょ。
There's nowhere you could have already tried it, right? Aiko smiled. She oriented the two stones so they'd form a perfect yin-yang symbol, then slotted them together once again. Immediately, the stones began glowing with a bluish right hue, and a stream of energy started to form around her.
マジかよ。
You gotta be kidding me. Aiko continued smiling and looked directly into my eyes.
いいわ。ゆっくり考えて。この石はもちろんまだ試していないから、どれだけ危険かわからないしね。
No need to decide now. Think it over. Yes, it's true. The full range of these stones' power has yet to be tested, so their true danger is as of yet undetermined. She slowly separated the two stones as she said this, and the energy surrounding them dissipated.
篠崎家の血筋、篠崎牧名の家で発見されたんだもの。きっと信憑性も霊言も新たかな霊具に違いないわ。
But they're from the home of Makina Senazaki, a prominent branch in the Senazaki tree. Their authenticity and the credibility of my intelligence is hard to dispute.
すげえな。ちょっと見せてくれよ。
Hell of a thing. Can I see them? Kisanuma didn't wait for an answer. He grabbed the ever-after stones from Aiko's hand and began examining them carefully.
あの箱の中にこんなものが入ってたとはな。
Hard to believe this is what was in that box.
あんたさ、まさかこの石を独り占めしようなんて考えてねえよな。
You weren't planning on keeping those stones all to yourself, were you? Aiko seemed taken aback by that question. Way to go, Kisanuma. You managed to catch her off guard.
これを見つけられたのは半分は篠崎が体張ったおかげなんだろ。
Half the credit for finding them is due to Senazaki, risking her skin after all. Aiko seemed to ponder those words for a moment.
じゃあ、お互い勝手に行けないように一つずつ持っていましょうか。
Well then, let's make sure neither of us can go by ourselves. We'll each take one of the two stones.
わかりました。ちょうだい、岸沼くん。
All right, giving one Kisanuma.
ああ。
Sure thing. Kisanuma plopped one of the stones in my hands, then slid the other back into the drawstring pouch Aiko had brought them in and closed it up. There. He then casually handed the pouch back to its rightful owner.
その気になったら連絡をちょうだい。そうね。サービスとしてブックオブシャドウズの捜索は私も手伝ってあげるわ。無料で。ね。
Feel free to give me a call anytime you like. And don't worry, I'll even help you find the Book of Shadows, free of charge. Aiko flashed off the biggest, most gregarious smile I think I've ever seen.
あの本さえ見つかれば一緒に行ってくれるのよね、あゆみちゃん。
And when we do find it, you will go with me, won't you, Ayumi? I closed my eyes and gave something like a heartfelt half nod towards my head without raising it again. I was interpreting it as a yes, but I'm not sure I meant it that way.
じゃあ、ここは私が出しておくわね。
Good. That being the case, it's on me today. Aiko got up and grabbed the check.
いえ、私も出します。
No, I'll pay for mine. I took out my wallet. I had no desire to owe this person anything. Good for you, Ayumi. Aiko just smiled.
それじゃ、割り勘ってことで。
Dutch it is, then.
そうそう。これは私からのプレゼント。
Oh, yes, I almost forgot. I'd like you to have this. Aiko handed her thorograph to me.
嫌だわ。そんなに構えないで。これは無料で差し上げるわ。だから安心して。
No, no. It's not going to bite you. And I'm not asking for any money for it. So please, take it with my blessing. I despise her.
ああ。
Me too.
鈴本さんや篠原さん、森重くん、ゆい先生、みんなのことが終わったら、この石はすぐに壊すから。
Suzumoto, Sahara. Wait, Suzumoto, Senahara, Moshigi, and Miss Yue. As soon as I'm done with those four, I'm breaking this stone.
ああ、その意見には俺も同感だ。両方ともぶっ壊す案だがな。
Yeah, I'm right with you. Better make sure to break the other one though, too, while you're at it. As if he'd been waiting for this cue, Kisanuma pulled the other stone from his pocket.
岸沼くん？
あの学校のヤバさも知らねえで浮かれてやがったからな。こっそりいただいてきたぜ。
She doesn't know what it's like in that school, I mean. She was actually getting excited about going there. So I helped myself when she wasn't looking.
岸沼くん、すごい！悪い人！
That's amazing. You're terrible.
緊急事態によりやむなしだ。けどよ、篠崎。こう言っちゃなんだが、生き返らせるとかその。
Hey, Sarah's business calls for Sarah's action. Though, Shinazaki, I don't know how to put this exactly, but about the whole resurrection thing.
鈴本たちのことは、もう考えない方がいいんじゃないか。
The whole situation with Sezanuma and the others should probably just be left alone, don't you think?
無茶ばっかして、お前がまた死ぬ思いするとかよ。鈴本も結衣先生も、篠原も森重も、みんなよ、そんなこと望んでねえと思うんだ。
You've gone through so much already, and have come really close to dying. And I don't think any of them, not Suzumoto, Mitsue, Shinohara, or Masiki, would want that.
でも、そうじゃないかもしれない。
But that might not be true.
いい加減にしろ、篠崎。サトシや中島がどんだけお前のこと心配してると思ってんだ。
Damn it, Shinazaki, just stop. Do you know how much Satoshi and Nakashima have been worried about you?
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
でも、お願い、岸沼くん。もう少しだけでいいから、私の気の済むまでやらせて。お願い。
Kisanuma, please, you have to understand. I just need a little more. I need you to humor me for just a little bit longer. Okay? Please, just let me do this.
よいいか、一人じゃダメだぞ。こっちは俺が預かっとくからな。
Fine, but listen, you're not doing it alone. I'm going to keep one of the stones. Okay.
大丈夫だ。
It'll be alright, you know. I turned my gaze up to meet Kisanuma's. My eyes must have looked like saucers. Windows into the mind full of worries, ideas and fears, spurred by this unexpected turn of events.
なんかあったらすぐ連絡しろよ。前みたいに目つぶって突っ走って、勝手に死にそうになってんじゃねえぞ。
If anything happens, don't hesitate to call me, okay? I'm here for you, and I don't want you blindly rushing into dangerous situations like you did yesterday.
俺だって、お前一人くらい守れる自信はあんだからよ。
I may not be able to offer much, but I'm confident I can at least protect you from harm. Kisanuma patted me on my head reassuringly as he said this, and I had no idea how to react. I felt warm and safe, but also a little annoyed, much like a younger sister being simultaneously comforted and scolded by her big brother. Unlike the same response was, "Oh, okay." I could feel my eyes still bulging from my body, opened as far as my eyelids would allow. I imagined how I must have appeared to Kisanuma, and how momentarily embarrassed.
んじゃ、そろそろ帰るとするか。
Come on now, let's get you home. Okay. Oh my god, that was so much reading. I'm going to explore a bit. He's late. Seriously, what is he thinking? That boy needs a boot to the head, I swear. Is that owner of the house happy? Obviously, they're experiencing the daily joys and hardships of life like everyone else. But do they really understand what that means? I remember running up these stairs with Miss Miyo Sazamoto. At the time, it never dawned on me that the legitimacy of those emotions or memories could ever be called into question. But why would it? Oh, so Ayumi is slowly starting to forget her friends. When you graduate, transfer, or get married, you're always still able to see one another, as long as you're both alive. But in this reality, it's as if Suzumoto never even existed. Where are all the people? The streets seem utterly quiet. Is it because of the late hour? Anything over here? Nope. Alright, time to go back. I don't need anything right now. Ready to head home? Yes. Come on then, let's go.
ただいま。
I'm home.
おかえり。
Welcome back.
今日の変死速報です。死亡した岡部さんは背骨が折れた状態で都内のこの場所で発見され、
News of yet another bizarre death has just come in. This time a Mr. Okabe, who was discovered within the city at this location, having suffered a broken spine. A Tokyo map was displayed on the television screen, marked with 2 red dots. The marquees at the bottom provided the headline, Sudden violent deaths remain unexplained.
ご飯はまだ少し時間かかるから、先にお風呂に入りなさい、あゆみ。
Dinner will still be a while yet. Maybe you should take your bath first, Ayumi.
うん。
Okay. Without thinking, I let the socks I just removed from my feet on the living room floor and began walking toward the bathroom.
これ、靴下。
Hey, socks.
うん。
This was a bad habit of mine, so ingrained within me that it had almost become ritual. I'm thrilled to have caught it. So quickly, I grabbed my socks and left the room.
みんなの魂がいる天神症で、ブックオブシャドウズを使えば、今度こそ生き返らせることができるかもしれない。
Can I really bring them all back? if I use the Book of Shadows inside Heavenly Host this time, it might just work. I set my back down in my room, quickly and automatically grabbed my sweatpants and spats, and made a beeline for the bathroom. When I got there, I threw my socks into the hamper with purpose, then began peeling off the school uniform. As I observed myself in the mirror, I began to murmur,
障害反動。もしあれがまた起こったら。
Go back. If I'm not careful, the same thing could happen again. Those burn marks on my neck and arms were internal reminders of what I had been through at the Senazaki estate. I could clearly remember the agony I went through as they formed. I remember watching them shear into my flesh out of thin air, blood spreading them as if I had just been knifed. I only survived because Hinaway sacrificed herself in my place.
やるしかないじゃない。
I have to do it. I tried to force self-confidence into my expression. When it wouldn't come, I slapped my cheeks hard. It was in me somewhere. I just needed to be yanked out into the open.
あなたが頑張るのよ。
You have to do your best, damn it. I lowered my head into the water ever so slightly, blowing bubbles in the water with my mouth. The pros and cons of returning to Heavenly Host were racing through my
奇跡
mind.
の力。確定した運命に挑む力。篠崎の末裔。私がやらなきゃいけない。みんなを生き返らせてみせるわ。
This is the power to challenge fate itself, to rewrite it. And I'm a Senozaki, so this is something only I can do. I have to show everyone that I can bring them back.
ブックオブシャドウズのありかさえ分かれば、すぐにでも。
If only I knew where to find the Book of Shadows. I need to get my hands on it again.
ブックオブシャドウズのありかだ。相変わらずずれた感性してやがんな。
You're seriously going back to look for the Book of Shadows? Your lack of sense never ceases to amaze me. This was just about the last thing I expected. I couldn't help but scream. It was that same boy who found his way into my room last time. Wearing the exact same clothes, he spoke to me without once turning his head to look in my direction.
涅槃を知ったか。やっと悟ったようだな。てめえの宿命ってやつを。
So, you know about the Nirvana now. You finally pieced it all together and realized what you have to do? He smiled, still facing away from me. It was a confident yet sinister grin.
あなた、なんでここに？
Why and how?
音響のまじないなんて基本中の基本だろうが。いちいち驚くんじゃねえよ。
Hiding one's presence is about as basic a spell as they come. There's no need for the brown gasket.
それよりもだ。忘れんなよ、それ。運命に課せられたてめえの責務だからな。その末裔ってとこ。
As for why I'm here, it's to remind you of who you are and what you have to do. Your bloodline carries a certain responsibility, after all.
あなた！
You?
警察呼ぶから！この変態！ストーカー！
Pervert, stalker, enlister, I'm calling the cops. My face had to have been as red as fire by this point.
うるせえよ、この父なし女が。誰が痴漢だ。幼児みたいな体しやがって。てめえみたいな貧相な体、見てもなんも面白くねえんだよ。
Shut the fuck up, Titmus. Who you calling a pervert when you got the body of a gray schooner? Ain't nobody gonna see a washboard like that. What? My head felt like it now housed all the blood from my entire body. I imagined myself white as a sheet below the neck, and flashing red above it, on the verge of a megaton explosion.
いいか、よく聞け。ブックオブシャドウズは、涅槃の中に戻ってる。てめえが篠崎家で失敗したあの時にな。
Just listen up. The Book of Shadows is back at the Nirvana. It happened when you messed up the Shinozaki state.
ほら。
Here. He handed me the photograph from Aiko.
いつの間にこれが何だっていうのよ
When did you... What are you trying to pull?
よく見ろ、節穴女。ここだ、ここ。
Just look at it, you blind bitch. Here, right the fuck here. I grabbed the photograph from his hands as aggressively as I could muster, then backed away slightly, putting as much distance between me and him as humanly possible. It was definitely the same picture of the little girl holding the hatchet that Aiko had shown us earlier, but now I noticed that she was holding something in her other hand too. It was a hard-boiled book, around the size of a typical dictionary, and though I could barely make it out, there was a certain aura to it that looked an awful lot like a face.
これは
God, it is...
力を伝えたいなら、もう一度涅槃。いや、天神小学校と言った方がいいか？すぐにあそこへ飛んでその本を手に入れろ。そうすりゃ。
If you want to use its power, you gotta go back to the Nirvana. Or should I say, back to Heavenly Host? Jump over there and get the book, and then maybe, just maybe,
お前の願いも叶うだろうよ。
you can make your wish come true. He stuck out his hand and pointed directly at my face, then slowly lowered it down towards my abdomen. He was now unexpectedly pointing at my lower body, but as soon as I started to get self-conscious, he flipped his hand over and opened it, exposing his palm. There was another piece of 10-cent yen gum clipped there, the same kind as before. I'm not sure why I knew it, but I did, without even thinking. As soon as the exchange was made, he immediately turned towards the bathroom window, apparently preparing to make an escape.
あなた何者なのどうして私に
Who are you, and why me? My question seemed to stop him in his tracks.
いろいろ教えてくれるの
Aren't you going to explain all of this? I wasn't about to drop my guard, especially given the obvious advantage this boy had over me. But he didn't seem like he'd come to attack me or anything. Rather, it was almost like he was trying to lead me somewhere, to show me the way.
今はまだ話せない。
I can't answer that just yet. He turned his head towards me, just enough that I could catch a brief glimpse into his eyes. Beyond his head, they were ice blue in color, but gentle and sincere. He smiled once more as he leaped out the bathroom window. I was kinda dumbfounded, but I had no idea how to process what just happened.
どうしたのあゆみ大丈夫
What's wrong, Ayumi? Are you okay? Mom barged into the bath, brandishing a broom. It was probably the first thing she could find with which to fend off potential intruders. Too bad she hadn't been here a moment quicker. All I could do was squat on the cold bathroom floor and stare at her with hollow eyes. There was no way to adequately explain any of this to her. It was late at night, and I still hadn't bothered changing out of my school uniform. I needed food, though, so I decided to hit up the convenience store on my way home. I picked up a bottle of olives, a pack of tofu, some mineral water, and other various things to keep me going for a while.
なんだこりゃ。
The hell is this? I could hardly believe it. There was actually an occult section at the damned mini-mart, with all kinds of stupid stuff like spirit talisman magnets and anti-demon worlds. I grabbed one off the shelf at random and looked into the company logo on the back side. PL Promotions Co. Inc. For these last 2 months, since we got back from Heavenly Host, it seems like there were a real spiritual boom going on all over the world. Whenever there'd be a strange death or something, the panic would be all over it. Downright excited about the possibility that it might be a supernatural in nature. It was all over TV shows and magazines too, with independent researchers checking out spiritual hotspots and giving fancy new age advice to people, just to boost ratings or sales. And now this, exorcism merchandise, next to prepackaged cupcakes and ready-made dinners.
コンビニでお札が買える時代かよ。
Get your talismans at the corner store now, huh?
ちょっと前までなら、こんなもの見ても気持ち悪いって笑えたんだろうけど、今じゃそんな風に笑えなくなっちまったな。
Not too long ago, I'd had made fun of all this crap. Guess it's not such a laughing matter now anymore, huh?
こんなの本物相手に聞くのかよ、なんて思うようになるとは。
Never thought I'd see the day when I'd pick up one of these things and wonder if it actually works. The item I was examining happened to be one of the spirit talisman magnets, seemingly the last one in stock. An old lady suddenly reached around me from behind and yanked it right out of my hands.
どう？
She glowered at me for a moment before taking her prize to the wrestler. And I just stood there, staringly blinking at her as he walked away.
なんだかよ。
The hell?
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much.
Kishinuma-kun.
Kishinuma.
篠崎、何してんだこんな時間に。家に帰ったんじゃねえのかよ。
Shinozaki, what are you doing here at this late? I thought you were home.
うん。ごめんね。こんな遅くに。アルバイト？
I did. Sorry to accost you like this. You just get off work?
ああ、今日は遅番だったからな。で、まさかずっと待ってたのか？なんか悪かったな。
Yeah, I had the late shift today. Wait, don't tell me you've been waiting here for me this whole time. Have you? Man, I'm really sorry.
平気。
No, it's fine. It was actually a really chilly night. I could see Sinazaki's breath dissipating around her. Chin and short. Frequent bursts.
平気じゃねえだろ。震えてんじゃねえか。嫌じゃなければ寄ってけよ。茶くらい出してやる。
It's not fine at all. You're shivering. You can come in if you want. I'll get you some hot tea or something. Thanks. My room was on the second floor of the apartment building. I hadn't been expecting guests, but I had just tidied up for my own sake a while back, so it was fairly presentable. Shinazaki immediately sat down on my bed and began sipping the tea I made for her. She was holding it in both hands, probably less for politeness and more just to warm it up.
美味しい。
This is really good.
だろ？妹がいつも送ってくんだよ。いい茶話。
Isn't it? It's from my sister. She sends it to me all the time. Says it's made from really good leaves. The sound of a large truck driving by seemed to catch her off guard. She was clearly a bit jittery, unsurprisingly, all things considered.
こんな時間まで工事してるんだ。
They do construction work at this hour?
ああ、年末近くになるとこういう意味のない工事増えるな。うるさいわ、眩しいわで寝れやしねえよ。
Yeah, when it gets close to the end of the year, they do all kinds of pointless work out there. It seems like every night, I've been sleeping like crap because of it.
大変。
That sounds really annoying. Time passed by us at a snail's pace. Shinazaki continued to sip her tea, never once removing either hand from the warm cup. She definitely had something on her mind. Something had happened. It was written all over her face.
親に断ってきてんのか？
Are you fighting with your parents or something?
連絡は大丈夫。
So, don't worry. They know I'm here.
そうか？
They do? Yeah. Shinazaki was in my room. I dreamed about this before, but never thought it would actually happen.
松か。なんだな。
Okay, but...
いや、
Well, I,
どうしたんだよ、こんな遅くに。なんかあったのか？
I just kinda want to know, like, what are you doing here this late? Did something happen?
あのね。
You could say that.
はぁ？今から展示場に行くだ？
Seriously? You want to go back to the heavenly host right now? I was half acting, as admittedly, this wasn't entirely unexpected. Shinazaki may be a lot of things, but unpredictable is not among them.
お願い。
Please?
で、この石を取りに来たのか？
So you came here to get this stone from me? I took out the ever after stone I stolen from Aiko.
いいか、篠崎。確かにこの石はさっき光ってたし、何か力はあるかもしれねえ。だがよ、もう一度あそこに行ったところで、何をどうできるんだ？
Come on, Shinazaki. Think about it. Yeah, the stones got glowy, so they probably can send you over. But what do you actually hope to accomplish once you get there?
また出られなくなって、下手したら今度こそ死んじまう。
What if you get stuck again and can't get out? You'll die.
そうなりゃ、ここでのお前の存在まで消えちまうかもしれねえんだぞ。
And if you die over there, your existence will be erased over here. You'll be gone. I tried to be as strong and commanding as I could possibly muster. I needed her to realize what a bad idea this was.
私の存在なんていい。それより、みんなを救いたいの。
I don't care if I'm erased. I just want to save our friends.
救う？
Save them?
黒の本、ブックオブシャドウズのありかが分かったの。
The grimoire, the Book of Shadows. I know where it is.
さっき言ってた、あの本のことか。
That book you were talking about earlier?
見て。
Yeah, here, look. She had that thorograph thing from Aiko with her, and was pointing to the little girl's left arm.
私たち、実はもうさっき見えていたのよ。この女の子の左手のところ。それが、ブックオブシャドウズよ。
It's been staring us in the face this whole time. Look, in her hand. That is the Book of Shadows. I didn't have to look very hard to see it, but that doesn't even look like a book at all. So.
本か、確かに持ってるな。それで、これがブックオブシャドウズだっていう確証はあんのかよ。
Okay, so she's carrying a book. Fine, but do you have any proof that it's the Book of Shadows?
ないけど。でも、多分間違いないと思う。
No, but I don't think it could be anything else. Ayumi, you're being a dumb odd just because you want to save our friends.
多分ってお前。
You don't think.
天神症へはね、この本を取り戻しに行くの。そしたら、みんなの魂を涅槃から解き放てる。鈴本さんたちを今度こそ生き返らせることができるわ。
We just have to go back to Heavenly Host and get it back. Then we can save everyone's souls from the Nirvana. We can finally resurrect Suzumoto and the others. How could I argue with that? There were so many assumptions being made. But she was so sure of herself, so certain that this would work. She wasn't about to listen to reason. Shinazaki shook her head furiously, like some sort of violent shudder. It almost seemed like she was trying to shake something loose from her mind.
つか、そもそもこんな石で、本当に天神症に行けるのか？あの女、庭愛子だっけか？どう見てもうさんくさかったぜ。
But didn't these rocks actually take us back to Heavenly Host? The girl, Aiko Niwa, was it? There was something just not quite right about her, don't you think?
それは、試してみなきゃだけれど。でももし、また天神症に行けたら、みんなの魂がそこにあるんだから、今度こそ、反魂の術が成功すると思うの。
Well, we don't know that until we test them now, will we? But if they do work, the souls of all our friends are on the line, and I believe we have a real chance of saving them.
篠崎。
She still had deep scars all along her arms, legs, and neck. Anyone could tell at a glance that she just recovered from a serious incident, but sounded so self-assured, so self-confident, but it was hard to take any of that seriously. This was the first time in my life I found myself tearing up over someone, and not being embarrassed that I was crying. Honestly, it surprised me even how deeply I cared about Shinazaki, and how much I just didn't want to lose her. My eyes were getting hot and glazed, and I felt utterly helpless.
こんなこと、誰にも話せないけど、あなたは信じてくれる。 石沼くん。
I can't talk about this with anyone else, but you trust me, Kisanuma, don't you? I was at a complete loss for words. I found myself literally scratching my head, trying to come up with a good answer. This was Senazaki, and she had come to me for moral support, for encouragement, for peace of mind. It was really the first time she ever truly relied on me, ever truly counted on me. I knew that then what I had to do.
もうよ、あのクソ学校であんな目にあって帰ってきたんだ。今さら何があっても驚きゃしねえよ。お前が言うんならきっとそうなんだろう。
Damn it. You know what we went through in that piece of shit school. There's no telling what might be waiting for us over there now. But if you're so sure about this, then we should do it.
理解はできないけどな。できないままに俺は決めたことがある。
Honestly, I have no idea what the hell you're thinking, but I promised you one thing, and I intend to deliver on that.
決めたこと？
What one thing?
ああ。何があってもお前を守るってよ。
That I'd protect you, no matter what. Senazaki and I stared into each other's eyes for a moment, each of us trying to figure the other out.
心配すんな。大丈夫だ。
Don't worry, everything is going to be okay. I tried to force a smile. Senazaki had basically curled up into a ball at this point. Her tiny body collapsed in on itself for support, but now, all of a sudden, she unfurled herself and gazed at me. I couldn't tell if she was mad or happy or what. Her eyes were either like daggers or saucers. I couldn't really make them out. Maybe she come here expecting me to actually shoot down her ideas or something. Maybe she thought I'd be alone in this. Maybe she'd figure out what I was up to. Or maybe she had been expecting me to say exactly what I said to her. And maybe it annoyed her. Either way, tears began to explode from her cheeks, so quickly that red bags were forming under them almost instantly. She then turned her back to me, all with one seemingly uncontrollable spin of her body.
どうした篠崎？
Are you okay?
昼間、私の頭、ポンポンってしたでしょ。
During the day, you remember when you patted my head? She seemed like she was trying the hardest not to let herself cry, though it wasn't exactly working.
あ？んなことしたか？
した。あれだけど。
Yeah. You don't remember? She paused, seemingly waiting for me to answer, but I had no idea what to say, and absolutely didn't want to say the wrong thing, so I just stood there like a dolt.
やっぱり覚えてないなら。
Never mind then. If you don't remember, that's fine. Ooh, Ayumi's pissed off. Finally, she turned back to face me, her tears mostly dry. Still a little self-conscious about crying, though. She kept her eyes closed, a telltale frown belying her confidence. There was obviously something between the lines for me to read, but hell if I knew what it was.
ああ。お前の持ってる石の片割れ、見せてくれよ。
Here, let me see your stones.
はい。
Okay. Senazaki removed the ever-after stone from her pocket and placed it squarely in my hand. I positioned it next to my stone and stared intently at the two. This was the turning point. What I did next could decide our fates. I couldn't mess this up. Outside my window, I could still hear the sound of construction vehicles driving by. It was now or never. In as close to one silent motion as I could manage, I opened my window and chucked the two stones out into the road. Hey! I timed it perfectly, and my aim couldn't have been better. Another truck was just about to pass, and the stones were immediately in its path. The sound I heard next was a satisfying crunch. It was the sound of delicate, glass-like rocks breaking into tiny pieces. Shinozaki had rushed over to the window and directly witnessed the fate of the ever-after stones. As soon as the truck drove over them, she collapsed to her knees. Like I said, I'll protect you no matter what. I have to. I couldn't even finish my sentence before Shinozaki's palm slapped my face with an incredible force. The loud smack of flesh on flesh echoed throughout the room. The side of my face was immediately in pain. I began rubbing it with my hand as I looked into Shinozaki's eyes. Her face was filled with tears, and her nose was running. She was bleeding so heavily, her shoulders were bobbing up and down. I never should have trusted you.
Shinozaki,
listen, I was wrong to believe you told me. I should have known better. She was absolutely hysterical with rage. You think I could just stand by and let you go back there? Back there? It was my turn to fire back. I was certain I'd done the right thing. How do you even know for sure that the book is there? And how did you intend to get back from that girl once you got there? Going over there without a plan will be certain death. I hate you. You're an ass, a delinquent, a worthless piece of shit. Well, maybe that's Ayumi's atonement plan. Maybe she wanted to kill herself. Maybe she did not intend to come back. Maybe she just wanted her friends to live and for her to die. That's all she wanted, was her friends to come back. So she probably just wanted to return to Heavenly Host Elementary without a plan of ever returning back. Leaving me with those hurtful words, Shinozaki then pushed past me and ran out of my room, crying like a child the whole way. I stood back up again, rubbing my cheek where I'd been slapped. A worthless piece of shit? Ow. Please, God, where are they? Found him.
無事だったんだ。トラックに踏まれたのに。
They're okay. But they were run over by a truck.
当然だろう。ただの石じゃねえんだ。
Why would that matter? Those aren't just any old stones.
あなたは
You!
よく手段を手に入れたな。論から手段、次に実践だ。進め。貪欲に貪るように邁進しろ。
The method is in your grasp now. Wrestled from the opposition. Now it's time to indulge in what you want. To push forward and put that method to the test.
お前はもう飛べる。パンピーどもを超越する世の断りに手を突っ込むことのできる人間だ。
You can make the jump now. You're so much more than those filthy peasants. You can surpass them. You can interject your own will into the fabric of this world.
教えてよ。味方なの？
Are you on my side then?
白だけ。
篠間くん。
比べて。こいつはクズだ。
I'm miles ahead of this trash.
はあ？なんだよお前。
Who the hell? It's the guy I passed in front of Senazaki's place.
壊れなかったのか。それ。
They're still intact. Damn it.
白だけ渡すんだ。
Senazaki, give them to me.
いや
No.
ダメだ。行くんじゃねえ。何度死にそうになれば気が済むんだよ。
This has to stop. You can't go over there. How many times do you think you can cheat death before death wins? She doesn't care. She wants to die. So her friends can live.
いや
渡せ。
Hand them over, damn it.
いや
野生犬だ。
Bad dog.
歩み、味方かと聞いたな。
You asked me if I was on your side.
その通り。守るものだ。
I am your guardian.
俺はお前の姉、日の絵の世話になった一番弟子、矢後浦教会のキリア・ミストだ。
I was Hinaways, your sister's protege. I owe a lot to her. My name is Mitsuto Kiria of the Yagoria Society.
お姉ちゃんの
You were my sister's
いい子だ。
good girl.
会場のワードは覚えているな。
You remember the chant to unlock their powers, don't you?
さてと。それじゃあ実践といこうか。その石貸してみな。
Then let's get started. Let me see those stones.
俺にしっかり捕まってろよ。あとほら、お守りだ。なくすなよ。
Hold on tight to me. And here, a good nut charm. Don't lose it. Obtained Mitsuto's charm, the Argus Cube. Shinozaki, don't go. Don't.
ごめん。もう心配しないで。
I'm sorry. You don't need to worry about me anymore.
篠崎。
お前は正しくパンピーの道を生きてろ。
You should live the life of a peasant. It's only fitting.
やめて。
Stop.
涅槃よ。死人を迎えよ。
Nirvana, I summon the dead.
篠崎マジかよ。
This can't be happening.
篠崎篠崎くそなんでだよ。
Damn it.
くそー
Damn it. Why? God damn it.
ここは
Where am I?
この匂い。この空気。
This stench. This heaviness.
天神書だわ。
It's heavenly host.
あれミストさんどこ
Misuto, where are you?
幸せの石
The ever after stones.
ない
They're gone.
どうしようあれはミストさんが
What do I do now? Misuto must still have them.
そんなあの石がないと
But without them,
あの石がないと帰れないわ
without those stones, I can't get back.
ミストさん
Misuto,
私またこの学校に一人ぼっち
I'm all alone in this school again.
そんな
God,
そんなことないよきっとどこかで合流できるわ前だってそうだったもの
no, I can't just start panicking. He's there somewhere. I'll find him. This is just how it happened last time too. Like a pomegranate. Like a pomegranate.
お前ザクロ
That's so full of juice.
いらっしゃいませ。
Welcome. This horrible The horrible things written on the blackboard are glowing so brightly, they almost seem to be backlit. Even with Sehiko gone, the madness remains. It wasn't this dark last time. There wasn't a clock like that here last time either. I guess things are really different now. I hope Misoto hasn't gone too far. I don't even know his phone number. Actually, I should leave a message for him. Misoto, it's Ayumi. Please call me 090 blah. Good enough, I think. Now let's see if I can find him anywhere. Finally, I can save. Heavenly Host is falling apart more than ever before. As a result, there are numerous hazards to watch out for, from broken glass to splinters. Stepping on one will lower your HP. Depending on the hazard encountered, only the currently selected player character may get hurt, or the entire party may take damage. HP can be recovered through the use of bandages. Oh, what's this? The door is affixed to the wall like a motto. It shows no indication that it was ever meant to be opened. A dead body? Before me were the skeletal remains of a human being, sprawled out unceremonially on the ground. This is definitely Heavenly Host. This person. I have no idea who he is, but somehow I feel like I may have met him before. A name tag rests beside the corpse. Toshiyosai Gato. Decapitation by wire while searching for a friend. Oh. There's a murky yellow liquid inside the bucket, filling the hall with an absolutely noxious odor. This is really disgusting. Not that anything in here isn't, though. Why are there batteries in there? Batteries obtained. That has to be a person. There should be something I can use to cross this hole. I wonder if anything I can use to cross this hole. Hey, a board. It's a loose floorboard, still very much intact and entirely solid. It should be strong enough to support the weight of even a phone grown in the dark. This might come in handy, huh? This floorboard changed. There should be something I can use to cross this hole. Loose board, yes. Use. I should be able to cross now. Alright, let's see who made that light. Hey, Mayu. What? It's me, Ayumi. I've come to find you. Ugh. Oh, what's this? What is this? It's like a spell symbol. That's not encouraging. What? As it moves. Tap the exit panel to exit your hiding place, but beware. If any of those entities are in sight, you'll be immediately chased by them, so make sure you time your exit well. At least I was able to get away. I have to hurry and find Masato though. There's no use hiding. You are always being watched. Oh, nice. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, dear. And you? Hi, Mayu. What? It's annoying that sometimes my iPad is just like super fast scrolling through the text for some reason. No. Then everything went black. Various indistinct forms blurred together in front of my eyes, and all of a sudden, I felt if not my body, but my mind had been shattered to pieces. Whew, finally we're done with this long chapter. That was a lot of reading. Chapter 1, Returning, to be continued. I'm loving the more updated the 3D visuals of the school really makes it more creepy. Would you like to save your game? Yes. Okay, so that's it for chapter 1 of Quartz Party Blood Drive. I hope you all enjoyed. I'm sure my iPad was on the fritz at the end, but I really wish I knew what it said. Oh well. Hopefully, as we progress in more of the chapters, my iPad won't do that. But anyway, I'll see you for chapter 2. Take care, everyone.